front.
Well, he's never going to have a better chance than this, Okenla. Why he doesn't just play it, I don't know. I mean, to try and control the ball in that situation, he's got to play it first time.
Thomas up well, the captain, cleared by Hicks. Birmingham could break quickly here. Donoghue really going at the heart of their defence and tried the shot, which was a bit optimistic, but not a bad effort for all that.
Aye, good stuff. Caught Palace on the break well there. Donoghue a long way out, but you never know. It could have been one of those shots that actually really caught the surface and skidded. In actual fact, it was a deflection, just that little bit too far out.
Donoghue shakes his head. Meantime, Birmingham have conceded a free kick. A foul by Hicks. And they've got to keep the concentration here, Birmingham. Thomas, the Crystal Palace captain, stepping back. And Andy Gray lining up the ball. Either of them are capable of getting this on target.
One of them's winding themselves up, aren't they?
It's Gray who hits it. Tremendous effort. And Bright has scored from the rebound, but the linesman is flagging. The goal will not stand. It's been disallowed.
Well, I can honestly say I'm not too sure about that as the play goes on. The play has started on the far side and I'm not too sure about that. I think it was a perfectly legitimate goal, but Palace are under pressure now from Birmingham City.
Well, Sturridge has gone forward. Palace still disgusted they didn't take the lead in that incident as Young gets it half clear. Peer knocking it back in. Not a good clearance by Sinnott, and then Sturridge with a downward header. I can only assume that offside was the decision against Mark Bright.
Oh, there's no question about that was the decision that was given, but yeah, I suppose you could argue that he was offside.
And Birmingham are going to make a substitution. Okenla, who was about to take the throw, now goes off to be replaced by Paul Jones, the 17-year-old YTS boy, who's only had 20 minutes as a substitute against Peterborough in terms of previous first-team experience. Ian Atkins, Terry Cooper's assistant, offering his instructions. Jones. Marden turning it back to the young substitute, who helps it on to Clarkson. First time cross, Donoghue missed it. It's gone in. Birmingham City have taken the lead in the last few minutes. And what a well-deserved goal it was.
Oh, there's no denying this. What a good cross in that. And I believe it was, young Sturridge, was it? Great goal. Thoroughly deserved by Blues. No question about it. You can't argue. Crystal Palace cannot argue. Birmingham City have deserved this goal on the night.
Simon Sturridge gets the goal that has given Birmingham that well-deserved 1-0 lead. The young substitute, Jones, Clarkson, the captain, both played an important part. And now the third division leaders are in front here against first division Palace. Simon Sturridge's sixth goal of the season, and the 21-year-old who's been watched by several first division clubs this season wears the satisfied smile of a man who knows he could have caused one of the night's big Rumbelows upsets. Lovely little layoff by Donoghue. Eric Young didn't know which way to go and has given away a corner. That shows how much they're panicking, Palace. 5 minutes to go. They're a goal down, and Birmingham cock a hoop here. In high towards Matthewson. It was a good header. Sturridge again. Oh, and it came amazingly straight back to the goalkeeper. Off Leghorn. Sturridge could have had another goal. And Birmingham in the driving seat here. Jones. Sturridge is in the middle again. So too is Donowa. And the cross knocked behind by Sinnott for a corner.
This is unbelievable, this. You have to say this is going to be another goal. But there you go. The ball just bounced right for Crystal Palace.
Birmingham have the corner. They're exerting tremendous pressure now on Nigel Martin's goal. And they have a 1-0 lead. Palace get it clear though. McGoldrick. Not much point in him continuing his sweeper now. He's got to get forward. And Peer takes the ball off him, but fouled him in the process. Gray is equalised from absolutely nothing. Crystal Palace have got a face-saving equaliser. Andy Gray.
Well, that's absolutely amazing football. It's a get-out-of-jail job here. A long, speculative ball played forward. A good knockdown by Bright. A miscontrol, really, by Gabbiadini. And Andy Gray, out of nowhere, hits the back of the net. I don't know. They're out of jail. What can we say?
Yes, well, on now to our fourth game tonight, Grimsby against Tottenham. Grimsby, under Alan Buckley, have established themselves in the second division after promotion last season. So, a tricky tie for Spurs, you might think then, especially after they lost at Swansea in the first leg of the previous round. Our commentator at Blundell Park is John Helm.
And it will be Spurs who attack the pontoon end first, with Paul Futcher heading the ball solidly away to Gilbert, who will ferry up and down that left-hand side of the touchline. And Spurs know that Grimsby are likely to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at them in the opening stages. So they'll be looking to hold the fire and then come out themselves. And there's one man who'll help to quell it. The England man, Gary Mabbott. That's Jury's header, and Howell's edge of the area, beaten to it by Futcher. And Grimsby have a bit of room now, with Gary Childs, who's won his place back in the Grimsby lineup in the last few weeks and scored. That was a neat little dummy by Rees, who goes on and lays it across, and Torsford coming from his line, able to gather. The first really meaningful action of the game. Sedgley. Now Lineker was always going for it. Sherwood was always going to get there before him. And he tests his length and direction there on the clearance, and it's well picked up by Rees. He did really well then, and he's fed Gilbert on the left-hand side. Gilbert waiting for support to arrive in the penalty area. Chips the ball across. Here comes Torsford together. With Woods coming in, it's an advantage when you're 6'4". That was a lovely build-up with the Rees's pass. Grimsby do play good, deliberate football. And Gilbert biding his time, choosing the moment for the cross. And when it came, Torsford reacted admirably. And this is Grimsby coming through. Oh, and tripped. And that's certainly got to be a booking, I would have thought. Tony Rees there had really tricked his man. And all that Sedgley could do in that situation was to bring the man down. Rees was on a clear run to goal, and this is contentious. He was the last defender in line, but it's a yellow card from referee Barrett. Woods will probably run over it. No, he won't. He'll chip it instead. Maybe he should have left it to Gilbert. Tottenham will have done their homework, of course, and know all about David Gilbert's tricks. He's a solid opponent, is Van den Hauwe for Gilbert. And I was looking forward to playing against him, and here he is again now. He's seen plenty of the ball at the moment. Well won by McDermott from Lineker, and he sets Cunnington trying to go through the middle. Rees, delightful skill again from Rees, and he's still tussling for it. Eventually there were too many Spurs men around, and a bit of fisticuffs now. That's unnecessary. Both Sedgley and Howells were there. It's Sedgley who seems the more annoyed, over Howells has got a set look on his face. And there will be another booking here. Well, it's to be hoped from Tottenham's point of view that it's Howells and not Sedgley who's involved, but it's Rees first of all who referee Barrett speaks to, and Rees is the man who will incur a yellow card. Now, will Mr. Barrett have words with anybody from Tottenham? Not so. Well, that's a good header from Dury. He's found Lineker here, and Dury invited to run on and might try one with the left foot, and he's teeing up Howells, and Howells has scored for Spurs. Just what Tottenham needed to settle themselves. That's First Division finishing for you. Dury really inviting David Howells to celebrate his return to the side here. Lovely slip pass from him, and he slides it in with the instep wide of Sherwood, and Spurs are in the lead. And David Howells has his first goal of the season. He only played in the reserves against Arsenal on Saturday, and it's his first goal for almost exactly a year. And didn't he strike it clinically? It's Lineker coming forward, sliding it through Dury. Excellent play, and off the post it comes, and Dury's so unlucky. And once more, this newfound partnership that Spurs have got of Lineker and Dury working almost to perfection. Only the width of that top right denied them. Gary Childs will try his luck. Oh, it's a great effort, and Torsford flips it over the top. And Gary Childs, the man who played in a Littlewoods Cup final as it was 7 years ago, almost marks this occasion with what would have been a splendid goal. Good strike. Again, it'll be Tom Watson on the right foot. Cockrell, and here's a chance. What a wonderful save it is from Woods' header by Torsford. That's kept Spurs in the lead, and it was a brilliant reaction stop from the Norwegian. Grimsby continue to come at Spurs. They're giving them a good game, all right. And here is another shot, and it takes the deflection. There's no way Torsford would have stopped that one from Tommy Watson. Well, as the cross came in there, it was down there for Neil Woods' header, and what a brilliant and brave stop by Torsford. Certainly that save by Torsford from the header by Woods, the highlight of the night. Grimsby win it. Childs on the ball. Nice to turn back by Rees, using the chest well. Woods goes on and threads it through. Gilbert will drive the shot in, and another stop by Torsford. Well, this giant goalkeeper really is winning the acclaim of the Grimsby fans tonight. It was a fine shot by Gilbert. He hit it first time, and the keeper produced the perfect reaction. It's another Grimsby corner. They've had enough in this second half. They haven't done anything with any of them as yet. Childs. And again, he's creating problems. So that time there were just too many around him. Samways, the back pass cut off, getting himself into a spot of bother, and he's rather fortunate to have got away with that. In fact, it's not gone out of play even yet. Extraordinary interlude this. That time there was a whistle, and it will be a goal kick. Grimsby have created certainly more chances in this second half. What a lovely build-up it was as well, with Rees and Woods there. And eventually the ball coming across to David Gilbert. But watch out for Torsved's reaction now as Gilbert smashes it in. He's a big man and gets down superbly. Allen to take it on. They haven't found Lineker with one of those passes tonight. Nonetheless, it's been a pretty workmanlike Tottenham show. And Allen might think of doing more by himself this time. Here he is. Cohorts with Dury. Still Dury, who gets past Smith easily. Oh, that was good play by the Scottish international, Gordon Dury. It required Cockrell to come across and do a centre-half defending to deny him the space he needed. And Steve Sherwood in the Grimsby goal has been largely redundant for this second half. Apart from one effort from Gordon Dury, he now has to face a corner and summon those in front of him to face it too. Short for Allen. Good ball back for Allen. Just that touch too long for him. But Tottenham are still here with Stewart, and the ball over the top. Lineker's in, and that's typical Lineker. A goal out of absolutely nothing for Gary Lineker, and that surely has won the tie for Tottenham and killed off Grimsby's challenge. How many times have we seen this? Paul Stewart looping the ball over the top. There seemed to be little harm, but a simple stretch of the right leg by Gary Lineker has sent Tottenham into a 2-goal lead. Now Gilbert, and Grimsby, a lot of movement up front. Can he pick out the right man? Brilliant ball. Plays Watson in. The covering player is Stewart, who's done as much in defence as he has in attack and midfield tonight. That's a nice little work. Worked 1-2. Oh, it was brilliantly done. And Gilbert thumps it wide. Excellent fluidity about this Grimsby attack at times. And that really was one of the better attacks of the night by both sides. Gilbert just got the angle all wrong, but looking for the excellent touches here. Rees with the layoff, Childs with the cutback. It eluded Woods, it didn't elude Gilbert, but he couldn't hit the target. That's neat again, but Lineker just stumbling, couldn't get there. He does now, and Dury turning the defender McDermott well. Dury goes on, and on again, Lineker, Dury, and that's 3. And that's splendid reward for Gordon Dury. That must have sealed it now for Spurs. And the 1-2 between Lineker and Dury has unhinged Grimsby. Dury, Lineker, and the Scottish international threading his way between the defenders and whipping it past Sherwood has sent Spurs into round 4. And Gordon Dury picks up his 7th goal of this campaign, his first for Spurs, and he really is finding an excellent understanding with Lineker, as that reveals. They've scored 3 and hit the post once, and that really is more than Grimsby have been able to summon up, despite all their efforts. 5 minutes to go. They're still trying. Rees, he deserves a goal, and another deflection. Here now, Childs. Surely, no, Woods. Gilbert, can he get one? Across, oh, nearly knocked the man out. Brave defending there by Gary Mabbott. Well, he's smiling. He's nearly unconscious from it. Tony Rees getting the first shot in. It came away handily to Childs. His cross beyond Torsved, also beyond Woods. Here's Gilbert. Now when he plays it back in, it's Mabbott who knocks it away. Van den Houw. Lineker, and Walsh goes on. Tottenham looking menacing again. Grimsby reacting promptly, but they've only succeeded in giving the ball back to the former England striker. It's run dead, however. And I think now Grimsby can concentrate their thoughts on Saturday's game here against Charlton Athletic. They've certainly done themselves proud here, though. There's been national exposure of all sorts on this game. And Grimsby don't really deserve to lose it 3-0. They might lose it 4-0. Dury, no more than a couple of feet wide. And he appreciated the ball through, which gave him the chance. That really would have been a travesty if Dury had made it 4-0, though, because Grimsby certainly even unlucky to lose by 3. It's been a thoroughly professional performance by Spurs, and the first half goal from David Howells and the 2 struck in the second half by Gary Lineker and Gordon Dury were enough to take the tie away from a brave Grimsby side who tried might and main but just didn't have the answer when Tottenham produced their clinical finishing. So it ends here with Spurs going through to round 4, deservedly so. It's Grimsby Town 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3.
Well, time now for a whistle-stop tour of some of the other games tonight, starting with 3rd Division Peterborough against Newcastle, struggling in the 2nd Division.
Peterborough, who knocked out 1st Division Wimbledon in the last round, always had the upper hand. Ken Charlery rattled the bar with this effort in the 34th minute. But the former Maidstone player had to wait until 6 minutes from the end to record his 4th goal in successive games and give Peterborough victory. Peter Johnson with the cross, Charlery the header. Final score, Peterborough 1, Newcastle 0.
Phil Kite performed an early rescue for the Blades from the head of Frank McAvenny. But after that, it was the home side who looked most likely to score. Bryson robbing Bishop, but the wood working wonders for West Ham. Inexplicably, bang on half-time, Sheffield's defence played its weekly game of statues, and McAvenny had the simplest of headers. In the second half, the Blades' uphill struggle suddenly loomed even larger as John Pemberton tripped Stuart Slater. Then Small, and if ever a player was misnamed it was him, blasted home from the spot. Proving it wasn't to be their night, Bradshaw's fine run was then rewarded with a wooden prize. West Ham should have ended any home interest, but Kite again saved his defence's blushes. And even when the visitors' defence wobbled, the giant check proved a solid last line. Final score, Sheffield United 0, West Ham 2.
At Elland Road, former Southampton player Rod Wallace almost put Leeds in front with a spectacular overhead kick. Leeds went ahead in the 68th minute. Mel Sterland's cross and Lee Chapman's header. Then in the 80th minute, Sterland broke clear and drew goalkeeper Eric Nixon before setting up Chapman for his 6th goal of the season. The 2nd Division side were not beaten yet, though. They pulled one back through, yes, you've guessed it, John Aldridge, the league's leading scorer. There was to be no recovery, though. Gordon Strachan took a short free kick and Carl Schutt scored to make the final score Leeds 3, Tranmere 1. Swindon striker Duncan Shearer, returning to his old Leeds Road stamping ground, tortured his former club Huddersfield with a goal in the 7th minute. A dominant Swindon went 2 up just 7 minutes later. Mick Summerby's shot finding its target through the legs of a Huddersfield defender. In the second half, the home side were awarded a penalty after substitute Frank Stapleton was held down in the box by Colin Calderwood. Kieran O'Regan's spot kick was touched onto the bar by keeper Nicky Hammond, but the referee ordered the penalty to be retaken for encroachment by a defender. Given a second chance to make amends, O'Regan blasted the ball high. But minutes later, Huddersfield did pull a goal back through winger Gary Barnett. 14 minutes from the end, though, Swindon made sure of their place in the 4th round. Huddersfield keeper Tim Clark could only parry David Kerslake's shot, and Shearer was on hand to bag his second. 6 minutes from time, Sean Taylor headed home to make the final score. Huddersfield 1, Swindon 4.
And time now to check on all the results. Birmingham 1, Crystal Palace 1, Grimsby 0, Tottenham 3, Huddersfield 1, Swindon 4, Leeds 3, Tranmere 1, Liverpool 2, Port Vale 2, Man City 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Middlesbrough 1, Barnsley 0, Oldham 2, Derby 1, Oldham coming back from being a goal down at half-time. Peterborough 1, Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 0, West Ham 2. In the second division, the match between Plymouth and Cambridge was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. The only other result in Division 2, Watford 0, Millwall 2, and in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, Crawley 3, Horsham 0. Crawley winning the Sussex Derby game, and they now meet 4th Division Northampton. Sutton United 3, Weymouth 0, Halesowen 1, Bulldog 0, and Farnborough now travel to Halesowen in the first round proper. Well, on to boxing now, and Brighton's Chris Eubank has still not decided whether he'll carry on fighting following his ill-fated fight with Michael Watson 5 weeks ago. Eubank said today he doubted whether he would ever come to terms with the tragedy. It's been a very traumatic time for me, he admitted. It makes me wonder if I can go on earning money from this sport. Watson, of course, remains in a critical condition in a London hospital. Eubank was speaking at an awards ceremony where his clash with Nigel Benn was voted the Fight of the Year 1990. Well, of course, there's more Rumbelows Cup action tomorrow when Portsmouth and Southampton are both hoping to do well. Both have very tough away matches. Pompey face Manchester United at Old Trafford, while Saints take on the cup holders Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. Here's Gareth Evans.
As the Southampton squad prepared to make the long trek north to Hillsborough, one key player was getting off rather than getting on. Matthew Le Tissier is fully fit but could still be doubtful for tomorrow's cup tie. The man who struck arguably the most spectacular goal this season at Nottingham Forest on Saturday has a more pressing appointment.
My wife's a week overdue with our first child, so I've decided not to leave her alone for a night and travel up in the morning, and if anything happens while I'm up there, then I'd have to shoot straight back down to be at the berth.
So you will miss the match if you have to?
If it comes to that, yes, I'll miss the match. I think sometimes you've got to get your priorities right in life, and I think family's sometimes more important than football.
Alan Shearer, Saints' top scorer with 9 goals, must be hoping Matt's wife will hold on a little longer. Le Tissier's new role up front has been to their mutual benefit, creating a goal apiece at Forest.
It's been a long time since I played up there. I don't think the manager knew if I could do a job up there or not. It was a case of being brave enough to test the water, I suppose.
Do you think you can forge a similar relationship with Alan as you did with Rod Wallace?
I don't see why not. I mean, that's 2 games that me and Alan have played up front together, and we both scored in both the games. And I think the last time I played centre forward with him was in a reserve game. We both scored 2 on that occasion, so we seem to gel quite nicely.
Southampton have already played at Hillsborough this season in the league and came away with nothing, losing 2-0. Paul Williams with the first, the second slammed in by Nigel Worthington. As well as Le Tissier's possible absence, Saints will have to face Wednesday without Steve Wood and David Lee, who are both cup-tied.
Steve Wood's come in middle of defence and shored it up a bit, and we'll probably miss him a little bit. And David Lee's done a good job on the right wing. I mean, it was Dave had to thank for me goal against Forest on Saturday, but I think we can get by and we'll get a good result against Wednesday.
While the Southampton players headed for Sheffield, the Portsmouth team were on their way to Manchester United, thanks to the only goal at Oxford in the last round of the Rumbelows Cup.
Beresford looking for Wigley, away by Smart, cool, turns it back in, looking for Burns. Robinson's got himself in a mess. Burns might have another stab at this. He scored!
Old Trafford holds no fears for the Portsmouth manager Jim Smith. Over the years, it's been a happy hunting ground for him.
The last 3 times I've been, I think we've drawn all the 3 games. In fact, I think the first one of those was for Oxford United in the Littlewoods Cup, which is now the Rumbelows Cup. Having drawn at Oxford, we went and drew at Old Trafford, then brought them back to Oxford and beat them, so I'm hoping we can do the same.
Pompey will take heart from United's first league defeat of the season on Saturday against Southampton's opponents, Sheffield Wednesday.
The ball into the middle lane for Hurst's head!
United hit back with 2 goals before Wednesday's substitute Nigel Jemson burst on the scene.
Must be a chance here. Jemson! 2-2. Can Wednesday get anything from this? Yes, they can! It's 3-2, and he has done it!
United will be a different proposition in the highly charged atmosphere of Old Trafford. Is there a danger that Pompey's youngsters could freeze?
Well, that is always a danger, but I don't think these lads will do. I mean, but again, from my point of view, you know, we want success very quickly, obviously, but it's still a learning process, and that will tell me something if they can't handle Old Trafford, because that's what we're looking to do and achieve every Saturday. He's playing at places like that in the future, and so he's got to be able to handle it on Wednesday night.
What are you setting as your target when you go up there?
Well, we're looking obviously to win, but we've got to be realistic and look, if we can get a draw and bring them down here, we'll have done a very good job.
Also tomorrow night, Brighton are at home to Leicester and Southend play Oxford in second division matches. Well, to round off midweek sport, one of the leading motorcycle events in the south, it's the Ace of Aces. Well, it's Europe's best grass track racers who descend on the village of Winterbourne Gunner, which is just outside Salisbury in Wiltshire, and Nigel Dean was there.
Nearly 80 riders from 10 countries met for the annual Ace of Aces meeting. Among the favourites were 4 times world champion Karl Mayer of Germany, Marcel Gerhardt of Switzerland and defending champion Jeremy Doncaster. Trevor Banks, number 22 of Dover in Kent, is a past winner of the Ace of Aces. He beat Mayer and 5 times winner Steve Schofield in his first heat.
It's one of the biggest meetings in England.